Welcome to The Explainer. You know, we love to pull back the curtain on the hidden worlds behind everyday things. And today, today we are diving deep into your breakfast bowl.
You know where this has to start, right? It's the debate that has probably torn your own household apart for decades. But what's really at the heart of this argument? Okay, so on one side, you've got this cereal first people, the purists. They're all about getting that perfect cereal to milk ratio, you know? It's like you put gravy on the potatoes, not the other way around. But then you've got the milk first crew, the anti-sog warriors. And look, they're willing to risk a bit of a splashy mess, maybe even slightly warmer milk, all for that one noble goal, keeping things crunchy.
But look, to really get to the bottom of this whole war on sogginess, we gotta zoom way in. We need to look at the actual science, the physics that's happening right inside your bowl.
And the main bad guy here, the villain in our story, it's something called capillary action. And if that sounds complicated, don't worry. It's the exact same force that lets a paper towel soak up a spill like magic.
So think about it. Every single piece of your cereal is basically full of these tiny little holes and cracks, right? Well, capillary action is relentless. It just yanks the milk into every single one of those little crevices, soaking the cereal from the inside out.
And here's the kicker. The very thing that makes cereals so wonderfully crunchy, all those little air pockets, is also what makes it the perfect sponge for milk. It's this kind of delicious, crunchy paradox.
So that's the science of sogginess. But it begs the question, right? How did these crunchy little things, these scientifically imperfect grains, even end up in our bowls to begin with?
Well, the story starts way back in the 1860s. And believe it or not, it kicks off decades of this insane rivalry in a town with the most perfect name you can imagine for it, Battle Creek, Michigan. And the origins of cereal are, let's just say they're not what you'd expect. One of the main guys, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, he was convinced that a super bland, meat-free diet was the cure for all of society's problems. A list that, and I am not making this up, included what he saw as the moral crisis of masturbation.
But his brother, he had a totally different and, let's be honest, much more successful idea. Just add sugar. And with that sugar came this absolute masterstroke of 1950s marketing, the cartoon Mascot. Tony the Tiger actually beat out a whole bunch of other animals to become the face of this new sugary empire.
So that simple idea, right, just put a friendly face on the box, well, that instinct has absolutely exploded into a multi-billion-dollar advertising war. And there's no bigger, more high-stakes battlefield for that war than the Super Bowl. Think about this. Today, the price for just 30 seconds of your attention during the big game can hit $10 million. I mean, that is an unbelievable amount of money for any brand to spend. And this just shows you how razor thin the line is between a home run and a total flop. You see ads that connect with you emotionally and have a super clear message, like Google's, they get an A+. But ads that just leave you scratching your head, like Coinbase's, they get a big, fat F. And you better believe cereal marketers are taking notes for their next big push. Of course, when you're talking to an audience that big, there are definitely lines you just can't cross. Some ads get pulled completely. Why? They're too political, maybe a little too racy, or sometimes just super weird and disturbing. These are huge, high-stakes traps that every major brand, including the cereal giants, has to tiptoe around. So to break through all that noise and really connect with people today, especially younger consumers, brands are changing their whole strategy. They're moving away from just selling a product, and they're starting to sell a purpose, a worldview even. Here's a perfect example. Remember when Honey Nut Cheerios took Buzz, their bee mascot, right off the box? They did that to shine a spotlight on a really startling fact, that 2 out of every 5 pollinator species, like bees, are actually on the path to extinction. And at the exact same time, there's this massive visual trend happening called debranding. You've probably noticed it. Companies are making their logos way simpler, often by digging into their own history for inspiration. Yeah, brands are getting rid of all the shiny gradients, the drop shadows, all those fussy little details. Instead, they're going for these flat, super minimalist designs that are really bold and pop right off the tiny screen of your phone. Okay, so we've talked history, we've talked science, we've talked about this all-out marketing war. After all that, what is it that actually makes you or me reach for one specific box over all the others? Well, if you ask thousands and thousands of fans, a few clear champions definitely float to the top. But, as you can see here, the fight for the title of best cereal is, well, it's personal, and it is fierce.
So that simple choice you make every morning, turns out it's not so simple at all, is it? It's really the result of all this history, this physics, and this nonstop 100-year battle just to win a spot in your breakfast bowl.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Beyond just the taste and the crunch, what's really in that secret formula, that magic mix that makes you grab your favorite box every single time?